I know it's become cliche to say it can always get stupider regarding the state of our world, but in case you needed a major reminder, it recently came in the form of the second stupidest American presidential election in history still being performatively litigated for no reason, with no real purpose, with no actual consequence or sanction, and that the complaining party had farmed out the task of data investigation for such a task to a firm which literally referred to itself as
Cyber Ninjas.
Cyber Ninjas.
Cyber Ninjas.
Cyber Ninjas. Cyber Ninja.
Cyber Ninjas.
Cyber Ninjas.
A Florida cybersecurity firm called Cyber Ninjas.
Remember the guy in the cowboy hat? He works for Cyber Ninjas.
The CEO of Cyber Ninjas.
I know you guys want to paste me as like some bad guy in here. I'm involved in this and putting everything on the line with my company because I care about our country.
Which, okay, is in fact funny just in itself, but also might have sounded vaguely familiar if you happen to be from the video store back shelves generation. Yeah? No? Well, I am, and it's one of those that won't need nearly as much scripting as others from this year, so...
Critics and sci-fi fans around the world are blown away by Cyber Ninja. Non-stop special effects. Reminiscent of Star Wars. A sci-fi samurai. Deliciously original.
Look out! Your worthless human soul has been woven into this fortress of demons. The two of us could make quite a team. What do you say, Cyber Ninja?
Neither man nor machine. Cyber Ninja.
Okay, so Cyber Ninja was the US release title for Mirai Ninja, which was, is, and remains most notable for being a standalone live-action feature film directed by Keita Amemiya that was released in the West in 1988 and was a period when those facts did not frequently align simultaneously. Amemiya is one of the living legends of Japan's tokusatsu genre TV world in the field of character design, directing, concept creation, art design. He's been a part of the Kamen Rider and Metal Heroes franchises for decades, created the Garo series. For those of you who've ever wondered, does Japanese TV have like an angsty, sexed-up teenager version of this stuff like we do with the CW? Yeah. It looks like that. And he's also a prolific presence in the world of video games, having done monster, armor, and art designs for Final Fantasy, Clock Tower, Onimusha, Shin Megami Tensei, just lots of stuff. Mirai Ninja was where those worlds first crossed over for him, and where he got to spread his wings into what became a successful run of bringing his unique design aesthetic and its useful marrying with tokusatsu tropes together in a run of slightly better known films like Zeram, Moon Over Tao, and Mechanical Violator Hokkaido. But it started here with Namco's 1988 arcade title Mirai Ninja. It means future ninja, or ninja from the future, basically. Which, unless you were on the bleeding edge of the import scene at the time, you probably didn't see when it was new because it was only released in Japan, but it was... yeah, Shinobi with a proto-Edo-Punk thing happening, basically. It's not 100% clear in the history of this whether they decided the property should be a game or a movie first, but someone at Namco was definitely sold on this being a potentially big franchise, and Amemiya, as mentioned, was doing double duty in the world of video games and TV design, and this became his project. In any case, our setting is future past Japan, and our story is, well, as the trailer mentioned,
Reminiscent of Star Wars.
Yeah, though in this case, turnabout is kinda fair play. Sure. There's two clans at war, the evil one of which clearly has the upper hand because they also employ demonic cyborg robot monsters, and in general, just a lot more crazy weapons and such, and the story opens with the good guys taking a giant ass-kicking. kills the best warrior in the local village, or at least we think he's dead. His distraught younger brother only ever finds his sword, no body. A plot point which I'm sure we will not revisit immediately or anything like that. Zipping ahead several years, the good guys have regrouped to a remote village where it turns out we're doing a reverse on the Star Wars Hidden Fortress lift, and that it's the heroes who constructed a ginormous doomsday gun, and the mission that the main character will eventually go on to find the villain's secret base is all about telling their compatriots where to point the gun, since it turns out there's a countdown running on the villains collecting enough human blood to fill up an evil tree and awaken their dark master. Isn't that always the way? Oh, and they've also kidnapped a princess, but you knew that going in.
You don't like my hospitality?
How I detest you.
It'll all be over tomorrow at noon.
And in the meantime, I suppose you'd like me to go to my death dressed this way. This is not appropriate attire for a warrior princess. I was too impatient. I can only blame myself.
Now I see. Just as I've heard. A warrior to the end.
Meanwhile, out in the forest, the villains are also preoccupied with attacks on their patrols by Shiranui the Cyber Ninja, whom we learn via awkwardly piecemealed out exposition over the course of the film, is a cyborg who is also a ninja built from the remains of a human. Hey, I wonder if it's any specific human who was one of them, but then turned against them for reasons, and now fights against them vigilante style, but is also mistrusted by the humans because he looks like a scary robot person.
If you move 1 inch from that spot, I cannot guarantee your life 1 second longer. The crest of the crane. So you must be the one they call Shiranui. But it's of no real importance who you are. My job is to stop all non-humans from going past this spot.
Anyway, the hero's top warrior agrees to lead a squad consisting of whoever can get their Dune-inspired yelling powers juiced up enough. Find the right pitch, Paul.
Take me with you! I'm not afraid to die!
Take me too.
No, me!
I beg of you! I must avenge my brother's death. It's something that I must do!
All right, you're the 5th member.
And also the brother of the dead guy, who's definitely not still alive but stalking around as a mysterious cyber ninja, to go on a mission to infiltrate the fortress, get the princess, tell HQ exactly where to fire the giant cannon, etc, etc, etc. Eventually they run into Cyber Ninja, who's also trying to break into the place because he thinks there's a chance he can reclaim his human soul from the bad guys and become mortal again. So they team up, and yeah, you might have noticed that Cyber Ninja is kind of a co-star in his own movie, which keeps feeling like it's gonna be something that's gonna pivot or mean something else narratively, and then doesn't really.
After all that's happened to you, do you really think you'd be accepted as a human again? You look like a machine. Even your kinsmen wouldn't know you.
You've betrayed your own clan.
Yurumaru!
There's a lot of fights, a showdown, a sort of revelation. The lieutenant bad guy who had a personal mat-on to fight Shiranui turns out to be the more formidable final boss than the main evil emperor guy. I don't think I'm giving too much away by saying they do take down the enemy fortress, though Cyber Ninja remains Cyber, so he can presumably appear in sequels that they did not eventually follow this with.
Are you? He couldn't be.
Well, just let it go.
Plot, of course, is secondary concern, if even that. In 1988, the point was longtime TV tokusatsu pros stretching their creative muscles at a feature with even more slightly grown-up edge to its action scope. So while a lot of this may look somewhat commonplace for the genre now, it was all pretty novel at the time, and it does look pretty goddamn cool. Particularly seeing the extra suitmation detail added in the mechanics for how Shiranui's superhuman abilities work, and the various sci-fi weapons, and as ever, Amemiya's too much detail is never enough design approach definitely makes some arresting bonkers visuals. I mean, you can absolutely see why a US distributor made an effort to get this brought over, and figured that the visuals and the novelty and the word ninja alone would get people to take a look, even though the genre had been dormant and overseas popular for years and the game hadn't been exported either. I mean, a couple years after Power Rangers, this probably would have popped huge, but that was still a couple years off. Today, it's sometimes seen as more of a footnote to better things the creators did later. As noted, Amemiya eventually got to turn darker grown-up tokusatsu into a whole brand with Garo, but before that, Toei had him and the other Kamen Rider heavies try out a gritty realism reimagining of that franchise in '92 as Shin Kamen Rider, no relation so far to the new film of the same name being assembled by Hideki Anno as a follow-up to Shin Ultraman and Shin Godzilla, featuring Amemiya's redesign of the main hero. Yeah, that's definitely different. And he eventually broke global mainstream with the Zerem movies and their anime spin-offs both getting big play on the Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s, though for my money, the best of his output in that era remained Mechanical Violator Hokkaider, a standalone feature that's sort of a good, evil, light, dark inversion spin-off of another Toku TV mainstay, Android Kikator, that recast one of that series' main antagonists into a dark anti-hero battling a dystopian fascist takeoff on a more conventional metal hero good guy.
I am Hokkaider, the one who destroys to bring justice.
It's mostly about motorcycles and shotguns. Kind of awesome.
If this piece is fictitious, I shall destroy it.
Most of these used to be somewhat difficult to find around. These days, not at much, even in the nice and legal sense. I think Hokkaider was just sitting on Tubi of all places for free last time I checked. But Mirai Ninja and the English Cyber Ninja dub are actually the exception. The Japanese version never got a proper release in the US and only sporadically came out elsewhere under alternate titles. I think it's Robo Ninja in the UK, and Cyber Ninja has been out of print for years. The only reason I was able to finally do this episode about it now was somehow one of those sketchy dump whatever prints we think we own, budget DVD bin at Walmart companies put out a release of 10 movies as the Ninja Collection Volume 1 that happened to have what looks like a VHS transfer of the '88 Cyber Ninja dub as one of its entries.
What's that? Cyber Ninja has escaped? I see.
This set is also now out of print and rose in collector value on the resale market when people found out it existed, since who knows, the people that made it actually own distribution rights to Cyber Ninja, but if you see it around, you might as well snap it up. Anyway, that's Cyber Ninja. I'm Bob, and yes, we will be working overtime to get one, possibly more of these up before Halloween. Heck of a year, this.